Wait a second.
I always screw these things. Always screw up because I have the black thumb, the technology black thumb. I will screw it up. So tape it.
You and me both. Marty,
Oh,
can you hear
please.
me?
Ready.
Marty, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Wait, where are you, Boch? There you are. I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. 1 second.
Right.
Got one more person, but hang on. Let's go.
Hi, Bochy.
Hey, Ted, how's everybody? How's Hoffy? How's everybody? Darren?
Bochy.
Great, Bruce. Great to see you. Great to hear you, as always.
Bochy, you good? Hey, Trev, how's the ankle?
Ankle's hanging in there, kid.
Uh-oh, what happened? What happened, Hoffy?
Pickleball at Thanksgiving. It's been 3 months. It's just brutal.
Hang on, guys.
Man, I tell you
Hang on before we start. I just noticed my battery is kind of low. I don't want to screw that up either.
Okay.
I got to plug in my phone. I just got back from Vegas with the S6.
Everybody, welcome to Marty Time TV. We are somewhat live on YouTube, but not exactly. I want to introduce everybody. First, let's start with at the top. We have Buddy Black, Rockies, former Padres manager, my guy Darren Smith, Hoffy. I know where you're joining from. You can announce that if you like. Bruce Bochy. We're all here to honor one person. There's only one person that can bring this crew together, and his name, my uncle, your uncle, everyone's uncle, it's Ted Leitner. So thank you all for joining us. Before I bring Teddy on to say a couple words, I just want to explain why this means so much to me. I mean, I became a baseball fan listening to baseball on the radio, all right? I listened to Ted Leitner. I tuned in to 760 to Hudson and Bauer to hear Ted Says. I tuned in for the 5 o'clock newscast and the 11 o'clock news so I could watch Ted do his sports his own unique way. He is as responsible for me and thousands of people in San Diego for being baseball fans, for being sports fans. And it's not going to be the same, Uncle Teddy, when you leave the broadcasting booth. So I know there's a lot of people here who want to go ahead and wish you well and maybe share a story or two. So thank you all for being here.
I appreciate it. I really do. It's just Jerry Coleman would always tell me when he was later on in his later years, and we were together. It was kind of like when Harry Carey was with his partners, and Harry got all the attention, and they did not, and they got mad about it. But Jerry got most of the attention. I did not get mad about it because I loved him and I learned so much from him. But he would tell me then, "Hey, you hang around long enough, you live long enough, and you'll feel that you're part of their family, and they'll think you're part of the family also." And I just kind of, oh yeah, whatever, that kind of thing. But he was right. He was right. And now that at this age and at the end of my career is right there, a few Aztec games away in basketball, depending on how far they go, I'm seeing that, I'm hearing that, and you can't buy it. It's so wonderful to me to have those kind of words, Marty. And thank you. When I was with the Aztecs in Fort Collins on a basketball game, a guy with an Aztec sweatshirt came up to me at halftime and he was crying. And he said, "I used to listen to you with my dad and my granddad on the Padres and the Aztecs, and they're gone now. And when I hear your voice, I start to tear up because I think of them. And you mean so much to me because of your inclusion in our family all these years. And I never thought about stuff like that. And now that I'm this age with this white hair, I'm thinking about it. And like I said, you can't buy it. I didn't expect it. But as usual, Colonel Coleman was."
Uh-oh.
Teddy's frozen.
Teddy's frozen. Wow, that's the only thing that can stop him. He was on a roll. Boch, you go as far back with Teddy as anybody. Surprising that he's still in this business at this stage.
No, I'm not at all. I came to San Diego in 1983, and I first of all, I'm just honored to be here to honor Ted. I think so much of this man, and in 1983, I saw two different sides of Ted. He was he was Mr. San Diego at the time, and I was just amazed at his energy. He did the Mac and Joe show, and then he had that Mark Larson show, and then the KFMB News he did, and of course the games, and and we all listened to him. That's where we got our sports. So So anyway, in early days, if you remember Ted, he was He was Chris Russo, Mad Dog Russo, before he came around, and Stephen A. Smith. I mean, Ted told it exactly how it was, and he didn't hold back. And it would upset some players and athletes, and he'd make fun of them sometimes at the stupid things that they would do or get in trouble with. But and then later on, he became Uncle Teddy, and it was his Padres. If you remember, they were his Padres if they were going well, but terrible. They were your Padres. And, but he changed. It kind of reminded me of my dad, how tough he was when I was young. Later on, he was my biggest supporter. And that's what Ted became with the Padres, and, became close friends and just developed those friendships with, Trevor, Tony Gwynn, Cam Minetti, and really became part of the family. And so, no, he changed quite a bit. But, and I did a lot of radio shows with him. So he had to put up with me. But just an honor to be here.
How about you, buddy? You had a good chunk of time with that man.
Yeah, I had a good chunk of Teddy. Actually, I came to San Diego in the fall of '77 to go to San Diego State. So I remember the first time seeing Teddy. I was in my apartment down on 55th Street, which is now just a couple hundred yards away from the basketball arena. And me and my roommate used to turn on the news, like Bochy said, and you said, Marty.
Yeah.
5 o'clock KFMB, and I'd hear Teddy, and I came down from Southwest Washington, where it was pretty straightforward sports broadcasting in Portland or Seattle, whatever I was listening to. And then we got down to San Diego and heard Teddy, and the first thing we said, "Who in the hell is this guy? What is this guy? Who is this guy?"
Who's this obnoxious guy?
It became amusing. It was great.
Yeah.
If you remember, his spoofs on, giving hockey scores, and it was awesome. And then, obviously I signed and I went back to Kansas City, and I was in the American League, so I didn't get to see a lot of Teddy or hear Teddy, through the '80s because I was back in Kansas City, but. Once I came back to San Diego, like Bochy said, I mean, Teddy evolved, and it was great to sort of watch him, the different stages of his career, and then the combination, after I, came in behind Bochy, the combination of Jerry and Teddy was awesome, and it was great because I'd see Jerry for. Pretty much the manager show, and if Jerry wasn't there, I'd get Teddy. So, and it was sort of contrasting styles. I'd get Jerry, who'd come at 1 PM, fall asleep on the couch, wait for me to get there, and then if it was Teddy, I'd get Teddy late, he'd be blasting in at 5 o'clock, 5:30, getting off a flight, doing an Aztec game or something, but. We got it done. So, he was always a great sounding board for me. I'm sure like he has been for all you guys. He's awesome.
Darren has one of the great all-time stories to tell, and it actually comes from did we lose Ted again?
So, this is very on brand for Ted.
Well, I'll be the setup guy tonight. I'll let Darren do the closing out, but
Okay.
I'm glad we're recording this so that way
Yeah.
can see it and hear all these great things Bochy Blackie had to say. But I just want to recognize what an amazing career this is about, Teddy, and what he means to all of San Diego. And as a player, it was rough at the beginning, but you're right, he kind of softened and put his arm around you and loved on you. And having had the opportunity to go into the Padre Hall of Fame, to have him narrate and say so many kind words was amazing. And only about a few weeks ago, we got to share a suite during Fan Fest, and just to see the love that the fans came in with and wanted to hang out with him and just chat with him. And he was amazing. He couldn't see him very well, but he was amazing being able to spend that time with him. And, they look forward to that opportunity. So, Teddy, well done. We love you, and look forward to seeing you more around the ballpark.
D. Smith, I love that. Was it I love that Bochy mentioned the idea that like the Chris Russo thing. What did you know about Ted Leitner when you got to San Diego? Because you're around that biz for a while. You knew baseball people. You know who some of the legendary guys are when you would book people for Dan Patrick or whatever else, in that San Diego. What did you know about Ted Leitner when you got here?
Well, first off, like I have no idea why I'm in this group at all. I mean, look at these people here. Like I feel inadequate to say the least. But honestly, like I really didn't know much about Ted because, when I was working for ESPN, I was working at ESPN Radio, we had this Rolodex of all these people who you could call back when everybody had home phones, and we could always try to track you guys down when we needed. So
home phone.
Yeah, home phone. So we always knew how to track people down. We had your hotels and all that sort of stuff. And the broadcaster that I knew from the Padres more was Jerry Coleman. And I know this will sound morbid, but there was a producer at ESPN who said to me, like when Joe DiMaggio passed away, or whenever there was any legendary baseball player who passed away, call Jerry Coleman, because Jerry Coleman probably has a story about that player. So when I got to San Diego in the early 2000s, I knew of Jerry, but I learned about Ted. And I learned about Ted really quickly. And, it was an important thing for me to learn. Number one, he had every job in San Diego. So like the idea that anybody could actually advance to be a broadcaster for San Diego State or the Chargers or the Padres, good luck, because Ted had all the gigs. Ted would do one game in the early afternoon. He'd do another game in the late afternoon. He would fly from point A to point B and all the like. So, he had all these gigs and all the travel. But, what I learned about Ted is, my business in broadcasting, you're always challenged to try to find the next market, and a lot of people considered San Diego to be a bit of a stepping stone to go to a better market. Like you can go there, you can get some experience, but what you really want to do is climb the ladder. And when I got here, I saw Ted and I saw how beloved he was in San Diego. And I saw that, he also had choices to make where he could have climbed the ladder and could have moved on, and chose to stay here. And, I learned that San Diego is just such a special place. And, you could have a career here in media that made you happy, that all of a sudden my priorities just changed like that. And it's not because I talked to Ted about it or he took me under his wing, not at all. It's just like, I just saw who Ted was. And I said, that's kind of what I want to do. That's kind of what I want to be. And, all of a sudden, going in and like taking a radio job in Houston didn't feel important anymore. Right. So, but instead being part of the fabric of San Diego and seeing, how Ted was so intertwined with it became my objective, instead of trying to fulfill everybody else's objectives in life. I wanted to be like Ted. And, I don't think I ever told him that, and, probably never even listened to this, but, I mean, I really did. And I just saw like, you can do it here. Like you can do it in a place that you love. And I will always appreciate Ted for that, even with his, sometimes rather abrasive style and conflicts. And he had 50 different jobs in this market. I always will appreciate that because he just showed me a pathway that I didn't know existed before I got here.
Darren, do you want to go ahead and tell one more story while I call Ted and see what happened to him and see how he's doing?
Well,
so I could pause the recording for a second because you have a wonderful story that is the most Ted story of all time, but I want you to tell it because it came based on an interview that you had. Where is Ted?
Well, I don't even think it was an interview, Marty. I think it's something that he volunteered on his own while he was doing talk shows.
That's what Ted does.
Yeah. I mean, he sort of just volunteered it one day on the radio. He was talking about one of his previous jobs when he was a nighttime television anchor in Philadelphia. I think it was Philadelphia. Maybe that detail's off. And, they would do the evening news, and he would do his sports report. And then they would rebroadcast the sports report later in the evening. And, Ted, who we all know, liked the ladies, right? I mean, Ted would tell you that. And Ted told a story on the radio that he was being romantic with a lady one evening. And he was in one room with her, and on the television in the other room was the rebroadcast of his sports report. And he said, "You've never lived life unless you've been with a woman and heard your own broadcast going on in the other room." And to this day, I always wondered what was it that really was was Ted's true motivation there? Was it her, or was it the sound of his own voice?
There's such a follow up there. I just don't even know. Listen. By the way, this is another amazing. I tried calling Ted, and where is he? Wait. Ted, clicked on, etc. All right, let me bring Ted on. Hang on. Oh, Ted. Hang on 1 second. This is from everyone. I need a drink. Hang on. Hoppy, where are you? Where's your background?
I've gone nowhere.
No, I mean, where are you? Right. No, getting voicemail on Ted.
Well, he said his phone was about to die because he hasn't charged it since he went to Vegas.
I know, but he said, I don't know. I wish. I'm so bummed out. Like this, we're here to honor Ted. And there's no Ted. This is incredible. And I even had him get on early to make sure there were no tech issues. Bochy, what do you have, man? I feel like there was a couple people. I wanted to invite more people. I wanted to invite Bud and Matty V and some guys. I thought about the San Diego State side. I know they honored him, a couple of weeks ago. I'd love to check in with Steve Fisher and Brian Dutcher, but I feel like most people in San Diego were connected to Ted more through Padres and like literally anything else. And there's such a romantic relationship that you create as a baseball fan with your radio broadcaster. I think more so than you do any other sport because of the number of games that you have. Bochy, is there any story, any one story that comes to mind when you think about Teddy?
He was so. Ted was so smart. I still remember him when he did the sports on KFMB.
Yeah.
And there was no teleprompter. This guy just went. He had an incredible mind. And he used to have fun, getting on the players, as I said. But then we had some fun with him, as Darren mentioned. Ted was a ladies' man. At least he thought he was. But you know what? It took him 4 marriages to realize he wasn't so much a ladies' man, but the beauty is in the eyes of the billfolder, and that's why they liked him so much. So, so anyway, that's a little roast for Teddy. But he was a great MC too. I'm sure you guys saw him, but entertaining. He could just ad-lib with anybody, and he knew baseball. He loved baseball, and he cared about it. He impacted sports in San Diego more than anybody, except for maybe hockey. That's the sport he would leave out, but just amazing man. And I enjoyed my time, and what a job he would do with Jerry, because he respected Jerry so much. He protected him, he covered him, and that's how much he thought of Jerry. So I'm just lucky I got to spend a lot of time with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Hoffy, I'm not sure how much the dynamic has changed now in the clubhouse with players, just because, right now they have so many outlets, right? You have social media, you have so many different ways to go ahead and consume highlights. The highlights are happening 5 seconds after they happen. What was it like, players in that clubhouse? I mean, I know that you and Teddy always get along, but what was it like having that guy when in the clubhouses that you were part of?
I think the biggest thing that I recognized was what Bochy said, energy. The guy was an Energizer bunny. Whether it was the 50 different jobs that he held in San Diego, it didn't matter what time of day you got him. He was going 1,000 miles an hour and knew exactly what he was doing and talking about. It just was an amazing display of love for his craft and love for what he was covering, and the intensity and love that he wanted to share with his listeners and his viewers. So the fact that what Darren said is, not wanting to use it as a stepping stone to maybe a larger market, I think he was ahead of his time. Of all of us really saying, hey, San Diego is a pretty great place to plop down and create a life.
Yeah, absolutely. And buddy, as a proud Aztec, I mean, it's one thing. It wasn't just, I know the baseball stuff with the Padres ended a couple of years ago, but he has been the voice of he really was the voice of San Diego State basketball and football for forever.
Yeah,
so that must
the thing that, again, I mean, the energy that Trev mentioned and Bochy and Darren mentioned about his schedule, especially like in September when he was doing Aztec football, flying from whatever and making a somewhere in the Northwest or Colorado, then coming to a day game in Philadelphia. he made every game, and it was amazing. He would somehow make it, and you wouldn't think he would do it. Flight delays, but he would make it. And as far as the Aztecs, and this is more recently when I'd go down to Aztec basketball games, and I made a point to go down and say hello to Teddy, and just say come back behind him, and they yell his name, turn around, and there he was. He'd give me a big smile, and we'd have a brief exchange for 2 or 3 minutes. But I always appreciated that. I know he's getting ready to work, but he always had time for me, and really, sort of cool for me too is, and Bochy can appreciate this, the time in our office, right, in manager's office, when a broadcaster comes in and, the interview's over or before the interview begins, you're just talking about stuff. And Teddy would open up a little bit about his sons and what's going on. And I sort of felt honored that he would, open up to me a little bit and tell me about what's going on in his life. And I know that in a lot of ways he's private, but he shared some things with me that I always felt good about, that he would tell me. So anyhow, Teddy, you're a beauty, man. We love you.
I appreciate it, man.
I'm
I do.
glad you're back. I don't know where you keep going in and out.
I know. I have the worst.
Your timing was good, though. At least I roasted you a little bit. I'm glad you.
Oh, I'm glad I missed that part.
No.
Sometimes the technical difficulties are good, But I just, for you guys especially, I tell people all the time, I mean, I don't know what I ever did to deserve the fact, and just the privilege and the honor and the fun and the laughter, to have 10 years with Bruce Bochy and 10 years with Buddy Black traveling. Because sometimes, you talk to broadcasters and their managers are, prickly and don't want to do interviews and put them off and all this stuff. And they don't have that kind of relationship. And I had these guys and thought, my gosh, it's not so much that I love the play-by-play and love my work as I do, but you get the added bonus of being with people like that, and they make it so easy, and you learn. And I always have. I was a football basketball guy when Jerry Coleman became the manager, and because we all make mistakes. Jerry, you don't have any pitching. I know. I told them, but they're gonna put me on him. But I made a deal that if I don't work out, they're gonna maybe put back in the broadcast booth. So that was smart. And then typical Jerry, when he came back after being fired after 1 year, and I expected to go back to Channel 8 and be done. But being Jerry Coleman, he said, no. We have me, you, Dave Campbell, and Bob Chandler. You stay, and you can do the Channel 8 thing too, and stay with us. And that's the only reason I wound up with 41 years and get into the Padre Hall of Fame is because of Colonel Coleman. And it's Colonel Coleman and Buddy and Boch and all these people who've taught me so much baseball as a football basketball guy and became friends for life. I mean, I have been the luckiest person that I know. And I and to that, and the old Asian proverb, if you find something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's me.
Teddy, you missed some wonderful stories. I cannot believe the stuff that Bochy was saying about you earlier. I mean, you missed most of your own tribute, which is a bummer. I mean,
they're all good things, Ted. They were all trusted.
Did anything?
No, that's what. And one thing I really loved about Ted, our game has changed so much, and you listen to broadcasts and guys doing games, and a lot of us talk so much about numbers and stuff, but Ted, there's not a better storyteller than Ted, and nobody knows the game more and has that great memory of his, and so that's what we're missing in baseball too. I think we need that back in the game. Guys that have that passion for the game and talk about the game and not so much about the numbers. And so I applaud you for that.
And I appreciate that because.
Oh no. Okay.
All right, let's roast him now. He can't hear us.
Let's get him. No, I wanted to ask Ted like what players wanted to fight him because he used to piss people off. Like I remember like Junior Seau once showing up on the CBS and he gave him the business, but man, Ted was not afraid to say things. And I don't think you can do that in sports today. You literally can't get away with that. You can't.
No, a lot did. You know, I don't know who came up with the line, if Ted did or somebody said that you either hate Ted Leitner or you are Ted Leitner.
Oh, Teddy. Oh man. Well, I'll tell you this I'm gonna give him like another minute because I want to make sure. Oh, he's gone. Maybe he'll try one more time, but no, I know I'm gonna miss him, man. It's just not the same. Like, let's see. We'll see.
That's a legacy, though. I mean, he might not be able to see, he might not be able to hear, but man, he still has those pipes.
Yes,
and
he does.
you know, if you close your eyes, you could be wherever you might have been when you were listening to Ted broadcast, fill in the blank, baseball game, basketball game, football game over the years, because he's still got it, man. He still has that voice, a voice to make all of us envious.
No doubt.
And you know, just one more thing. I mean, Ted also broadcast a lot of crappy Padres teams, like really, really, really bad teams with uninteresting players. And I'm not fighting any of your teams, and I don't mean anybody here, but it's like, and he still made it interesting. Like that takes a gift to keep people engaged, for people to care when the product was bad, and you didn't have interesting players. So that's a gift. And Boch, you mentioned something very important: the gift of gab and the gift of storytelling. He does it better than anybody.
Right. I mean, you were nervous as a player. You were almost afraid to listen to him on the news or something, especially being a backup catcher and hear how bad I was. He was we were very, very close.
Yeah, but you know, like Boch said, I mean, how the wide-ranging talent to broadcast across every sport, MC, do a talk show, do a newscast. I mean, you got to be good to be able to do all that, right? And be able to ad lib and be witty and be quick, be humorous, and yet also be serious when it needs to be. I mean, he's all that, right?
And there will never be anything like that again. Yeah. Nobody will ever do what Ted did. I mean, that's the one thing you can absolutely say for sure. Nobody will ever do all the things that Ted was doing at the same time. You'll just never find anybody. It's just impossible to do it. And, it's just a credit to him. We'll never see somebody like that in San Diego again.
Yeah, no doubt.
Ah, boy. Did we lose Hoffy too? How's Arizona, Boch, buddy?
Good. In fact, I see Buddy on Friday night.
Yeah. Hey, Boch,
we're getting some bad weather.
Yeah, we got some rain coming. So heads up. That's why I asked you guys if it was raining over there, because we're supposed to get some over here on Friday.
Yeah, we're supposed to start DeGrom. He's supposed to make his debut, but we're going to probably push him back to Saturday now.
I've got a 100% at 8:00 here.
Oh, really? Wow.
Boch, if I hear something early in the afternoon, I'm sure we'll get a hold of you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, and half my team, they live up there, so they like playing up there.
Yeah, right.
The Seegers and those guys, I'm gonna have to cancel.
Wait, who's back? He's back. All right, he's back. So we should try and wrap these things up. That was a great breakdown of all his ex-wives, guys. I appreciate that. I'm sorry.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, to talk about the ultimate, the guy misses his own whatever roast, testimonial, being honored. It's like, what's next? Missing your own funeral? I mean, this is just this is so me. How did you enjoy the get together and you were honored by two enormous big managerial talents in baseball and other people, and you missed 90% of it? That's just the way it is. My brother used to tell me that. He's a psychologist, and he said, you kind of live your life as a warning to others. With all the marriages and all the problems you've had, you can't be totally useless, he would tell me, because you could always be an example to others about what not to do, including missing your own testimonial.
Well, Teddy, I'm gonna make sure I send you the links, and you can go ahead and see the appreciation that people have for you, because I really, really wanted you to know we didn't get a chance to do this, with the Padres stuff because you were still broadcasting. But I just want you to know how much you meant to me and how much you meant to so many people in San Diego, man. It's never going to be the same. Real quick, before we lose you again, and I know everybody has to go. Did players ever want to fight you?
No, actually, I had only one that came to. It didn't come to blows. It was after Dave Winfield was leaving, and they announced that Jerry Turner would take his place in the outfield. And on Channel 8, being a smart astronaut as I was at that time, I said, if you're going to have Jerry Turner, no offense, going to replace Dave Winfield, listen, if you enter Volkswagen at the Indy 500, you better know a hell of a shortcut. And he didn't appreciate that. So he approached me on the field of the batting cage the next day. He'd seen that on Channel 8 or somebody had told him, I don't know. And he started yelling, Volkswagen, huh? And initially I didn't know what he was talking about. Then the bell went off, and I thought he was going to ring my bell. Fortunately, he was a good guy. Cooler heads, his prevailed. But honestly, no physical stuff through my entire career. I've been very, very lucky.
All right, Ted, I'm sorry you missed it.
Me too. Me too. Believe me. I think so. I'll find out. I'll find out how much I would have missed it.
Darren, good story. Good story, Darren. I like that one.
Yeah.
That was.
Beauty.
Hey guys, I appreciate it so much. I really do.
Hey, let's raise a glass.
We appreciate you.
Teddy, you're the man. Cheers,
Thanks,
Teddy.
guys. I appreciate it.
Cheers,
I
Teddy.
appreciate it. And you've all made my career in life so much better. Had I not met all of you, I would not have had this great a life, and I appreciate it so much.
All right, Uncle Teddy, thank you.
You take care, boys.
All right.
Have a great year, all of you.
Okay.
All right, thank
See
you.
y'all.
Marty, nice going for putting this together.
Nice.
Marty, well done.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers, Marty.
I appreciate all of you so much, and I want you to know that I even brought out my best wine tonight. I brought some good wine for tonight.
Yeah.
That a girl.
Is Teddy frozen again? He is. Wow.
Hey.
Perfect.
How's this happen, Marty?
I don't know. I don't know. We should have booked Hacksaw.
All right. Well,
All right,
catch
see you
y'all
guys.
later.
Folks,
Thank
see
you.
later.
Good seeing y'all.
Good to see everybody. Great to see
See you guys.
everybody. Hope to see
You guys are the
soon.
best.
All right.
Bye.
All right.